Lady Gaga reflects on finding inspiration for her complex and twisted portrayal of Harley Quinn in Joker, Folie Deux, during a road trip through the vast and serene landscapes of Wyoming's Big Sky Country in late 2022. Accompanied by her now fiancé Michael Polanski, the pop icon found herself deeply immersed in the role of the infamous Harley Quinn, love interest to Joaquin Phoenix's chilling portrayal of the Joker. Although Polanski, a San Francisco-based entrepreneur, is certainly not the Joker in this scenario, Gaga's journey with him offered unexpected insights into character. She didn't shy away from showing off a sizable diamond engagement ring during an interview, clearly beaming with happiness. The couple's road trip through Wyoming and the majestic Teton Range proved to be profoundly illuminating for Gaga as she delved into the psyche of Harley Quinn, who shares a dark and fantastical love story with Arthur Fleck, the Joker. "So Michael, my fiancé, and I were driving through some of the most beautiful mountains in the world," Gaga recalls. "And I kept thinking about this line Harley says to the Joker, 'We're going to build a mountain together.' I completely believe she thinks that. It's a full-on fantasy, but that's the essence of who she is. So fantasy, this delusional belief in their shared destructive love, lies at the very core of Joker, Folie Deux, a warped and unconventional musical that follows the deranged romance between the Joker and Harley Quinn. Unlike traditional comic book movies with action-packed sequences of heist or superhero battles, this film takes a different route. It offers a raw, emotional deep dive into the fragile minds of its two central characters, portrayed by two of Hollywood's most electrifying performers, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. As fans eagerly anticipate the release of the film on Friday, Joker, Folie Deux is shaping up to be anything but a typical superhero movie. When Joker first hit theaters in 2019, no one anticipated that it would evolve into such a phenomenon. Joaquin Phoenix's chilling portrayal of Arthur Fleck, a mentally disturbed loner who transforms into the Joker, captivated audiences, ultimately propelling the film to global success. It grossed over $1 billion at the worldwide box office and garnered 11 Oscar nominations, winning 2, including Best Actor for Phoenix. The idea of a sequel had been quietly brewing in the minds of Phoenix and director Todd Phillips long before the public ever caught wind of it. However, it was clear from the start that this follow-up wouldn't be a standard comic book sequel. So we didn't want to just continue the story like he's the Joker now, and we'll watch him go out and rob banks or commit crimes. Phoenix explains. There wasn't going to be any of that. Instead, Phillips and Phoenix focused on the deeply disturbed relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. They began to explore the idea of someone falling in love with the image a person projects rather than their true self. What happens when somebody falls in love with the image that you're projecting? Phoenix reflects. There was something so ripe about that concept. Even after Arthur is arrested, he's always above everything. There are these jokes happening inside him that no one else can ever understand. The film is set 2 years after the events of the original Joker, when Arthur Fleck's chaotic killing spree became the subject of a TV movie. By this time, Arthur has grown tired of his grotesque Joker persona and the mass adoration it once inspired. In preparing for this role, Phoenix found himself drawing inspiration from the real-life experiences of rock stars from the 1970s, particularly the band Kiss. Think about Gene Simmons from Kiss. Phoenix says with a laugh, there were 20-year-olds painting their faces, putting on platform shoes, all rockin' and roll. But what happens when you're in your 40s and you're like, I don't want to put the makeup on anymore? That idea just made me laugh, and Todd and I thought maybe that's the beginning of something. In Joker, Folie Deux, Arthur's once fire spark has been extinguished. Life in the violent offenders wing of Arkham State Hospital has taken its toll. With daily medication regimens and the oppressive watch of the guards, Arthur has become more broken than ever. Phoenix's physical transformation is once again evident. While he famously lost 52 pounds for the first film, he appears even more emaciated in the sequel. His character, now a shell of his former self, shuffles out of his cell, with Phoenix's exposed shoulder blades prominently on display. That was the first day of shooting, and I was in a really low place, Phoenix reveals. I was definitely thinner than I was in the first film. Director Todd Phillips confirms that this wasn't HC effect. That's not digital. That's just his body, Phillips says, noting that he initially didn't want Phoenix to undergo such drastic weight loss again. I didn't want him to be unhealthy, but it was important to him that Arthur looked a certain way. If he was a bummer before, now he's an even bigger bummer. The bleakness of Arthur's existence shifts when he meets Lee Quinzel, a fellow patient at Arkham who shares his delusional world. Gaga, who emerged as the top choice for Harley Quinn once Phillips and Phoenix decided the film would be a musical, brought her own unique energy to the role. The decision to make the film a musical had its roots in some of the more surreal moments from Joker, particularly Arthur's famous stair and bathroom dances. However, Phillips admits that casting two massive stars like Phoenix and Gaga came with its own set of challenges, particularly when it came to avoiding the paparazzi. It wasn't easy, not because of their personalities, but because of the constant scrutiny, Phillips says. When we made the first Joker, no one really knew what we were doing. It was under the radar. But now, especially with Gaga involved, we were under a microscope. Gaga embraced the challenge, contributing ideas for her character's musical sequences. So one standout moment in the film is a dream waltz between Joker and Harley that starts in the glamorous style of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers before spiraling into a chaotic nightmare. Gaga explains that the idea for the waltz came to her while reflecting on Harley's delusional fantasy world. It starts with them imagining themselves as this perfect picture of health and happiness, Gaga says. But then it falls apart just like they do. The waltz breaks and so do they. As Joker Folie Deux builds to its climactic conclusion, the film shifts into a televised Joker trial, a spectacle that sees Arthur once again donning his garish face paint. Harley, too, has fully transformed by this point, her love for Joker solidified in their shared madness. However, despite the film's comic book connections, it remains anything but traditional. So both Gaga and Phoenix threw themselves into the musical performances, with Gaga even tempering her powerful voice to make Lee Kwenzel's amateur singing feel authentic. Phoenix, who has previous dance experience, dedicated months to rehearsing a complex tap dance sequence for the film. The scene, though brief, required 2 hours of training every day, with Phoenix pushing himself to master moves like the intricate toe stand balance. Reflecting on the moment, Phoenix recalls a particularly intense scene with Gaga, where he finally felt inspired to attempt the move on camera. I didn't want to break my ankle trying, but in that moment, Stefani was belting out a song, and I just felt this energy, Phoenix says. The veins were bulging in her neck, and I thought, I've got to try it, even if I fall. And somehow I did it. Together, Phoenix and Gaga have created a film that promises to be as bold and unpredictable as the characters they portray. In Joker Folie Deux, they have crafted a dark, twisted love story that dances between reality and fantasy, mirroring the volatile nature of their shared delusion.